Hey, can you do me a quick favor? If you read my book or design journal and loved it, can you leave me a quick review on whatever website you bought it from? Even a simple great book, helpful book, loved it, that would help me so much. Thank you. But not right now. Watch this video first and then go do it. Hey, party people. Today I want to talk about what to do when you want to start a fashion line, but you have no experience in the fashion industry. And this is one approach. To me, I think this is the most thoughtful, I don't want to say the word easy because it's really not easy at all. Nothing about this industry is easy, but I would say the simplest way to go about it. And, you know, I'm sure there will be people arguing with me in the comments like they always are, but whatever. Okay. This is how I would approach it if I had no experience in the industry and I wanted to be a fashion designer. Okay. Number one, I would pick a category. Okay. I would pick a singular category, and that is going to simplify 100 million things. Okay. Even if you eventually end up with like full collections with different categories, leather jackets, wool pants, whatever. If you don't have any experience in the fashion industry, trying to go from 0 to 60 in 2 seconds is going to be you're going to burn out so fast. What I would recommend, which is actually what I do recommend to all of my paying clients and to all of my Patreon students, anyone who asks me, is to pick a category, one that you're the most passionate about, and build your product from there and build your reputation on being able to do one thing really, really beautifully so that when you branch out into other categories, people are like, well, they did this other thing really good. Let's give this other thing a shot. And that doesn't necessarily mean you only have to do one thing. You could do like a small collection of swimsuits that are all the same fabrication, using the same colors and prints, but like different cuts. So it's still keeping things small, but you're offering some variety. Girls who like bikinis, girls who like one pieces, whatever, right? So keeping things cohesive and small and simpler to execute, but still having a bit of variety. And there have been countless people throughout history who have used this approach and done well for themselves. Like Sarah Blakely, founder of Spanx, she just started with Spanx. And whatever shoe thing she's doing now, she made herself a billionaire from Spanx. Like literally, I think she's literally a billionaire off Spanx. Ralph Lauren started by selling neckties. Elsa Schiaparelli started with one trompe-l'oeil sweater. Those kinds of things. Coco Chanel, Jean Lanvin, they all started making hats. They started in hats. And so you can build a business off of one category or even one singular thing. Like there are people who start with one great shoe, one great bra, whatever, and really build their reputation on that and expand from there. And the more you build your business, the more capital you earn to start developing these other categories and also to hire help to help you build out these other categories. But I would really try to pick your favorite category, because in the beginning, when everything is the hardest and you're all alone, because maybe you don't have enough money to hire a bunch of people, at least you're working on the thing you like best. Okay, that's my thing. It's like it's the thing you like best, and maybe it's the thing you know most about from the consumer end, because that's what you like to wear the most. That's what you check out the most in magazines or news, that sort of thing. Okay. And now we are moving into the research and development phase, okay? And that is a multi-pronged approach. Okay, number one, start reading the news. Get involved in the industry news, whether it's Vogue Business, Women's Wear Daily, Business of Fashion, those are paid subscriptions, but you can like start following them on their social media accounts and start reading headlines and then start to see like which ones have the stories that you start getting more and more interested in before you pick a subscription to go with. But it is a worthy and often tax deductible investment for your business to keep apprised of your particular segment of the industry. It is very difficult to keep apprised of everything going on in the industry, but once you've chosen your category, you should really follow the news in what's going on with your category. Okay. Today I've chosen leggings as my example because I'm not trying to blow up any of my clients' ideas. And so I'm like, well, I don't want to use this example because she's doing that. They're doing that. Like, so today we're doing leggings. We're using leggings as an example because none of my clients are currently making leggings. Okay. So if you're making leggings, you definitely want to hit that athleisure, lounge wear, cut and sew knits, full fashion knits, technology in it, sustainable knitting, like hosiery, like get into all those related spaces in the news, see what technology is coming about, what other businesses are doing in terms of how they're marketing themselves, what brick and mortar techniques they're doing, what kind of cool websites they have, what kind of sort of like fitting gadgets, tools, web tools they have to help people find their fit online, like all these things you want to learn so that you can decide what's going to be right for your business or expand off those ideas and come up with something better. But like, get really involved in that segment of the industry so that later on, when you're talking to other people, you sound like you know what you're talking about. Like you've done some legwork and you're not just like, hi, teach me everything. Like literally nobody likes it when you approach them and say, teach me everything. Like people prefer to work with people who show a bit of proactiveness. Another part of your research and development tactics should be to analyze product. I have a whole section on product analysis and a questionnaire that you can fill out both in my book and my design journal. But you really need to go out and analyze product. I would go shopping. I would go both online shopping and see how your product category presents itself, especially those that you find your direct competition. Okay. Direct competition, meaning like the kinds of leggings, the vibe of your customer, and your price point. Okay. And check out your competition, order some samples from them, whether you go to and if you can, you should also try to check out their brick and mortar stores, to check out their merchandising, to check out what other things that they have in the store, check out and feel all their fabrics. Try some on, and you should absolutely buy a few things from your competitors to try on at home, to analyze their construction, because that's how you're going to learn construction. Okay. I do highly recommend picking up a sewing course, like a beginner sewing course. Like if you're doing leggings, try to find a simple cut and sew knit sewing class so that you can kind of get some rudimentary sort of construction instruction. Okay. And again, I am in the camp that learning construction will help you become a better designer. So it's not a matter of you being able to sew the most beautiful French seam in the trickiest chiffon ever. It's about learning what a French seam is, in what fabrications does it work well, when you want to use it, what kind of overall garment construction you want to use a French seam for. Like that's the whole purpose of designers learning a French seam. So if you take a class on cut and sew knits and you learn what an overlock machine does, you learn what a cover stitch machine does, you know, what's the difference between a 3, 4, 5 thread overlock machine, you know, what they do for the clothes, like that can really help you with the construction of your designed garments. That can really help you in having conversations with your tech designer on how you want things done with your factory. Like, I want to do this and I want a 4-thread serge, like those kinds of things if you take like a beginner sewing class. And also, I would recommend checking out the quality of garments that are a little bit cheaper than your competition and a little bit more expensive than your competition, and really analyze what makes things cheaper, where are they cutting corners, and so you can start to see patterns. Okay, it's not enough to just see one and one and one, but you want to analyze a few of these things, whether you take them into the dressing room at a store and you like turn it inside out. Listen, this is something, if you read my book, there's like a whole section where I talk about how in fashion school, we all had to go to the store and we had these little handouts that we had to fill out. And we would go to these stores and try on dresses and do these product analysis sheets where, do you think it was worth the cost of this because of how well it was made, how well it fit, was the quality of the materials good, like all these things. And at the time, I hated doing I hated doing them so much, like so much. But in retrospect, they're really what you need to be doing. You need to be analyzing what's in the market and what you need to be making to be competitive and like see like, okay, maybe you already have an idea like I want to make this kind of legging, but make it different in this way because this is not what I'm seeing in the market. Okay. And this is where you go in, be a scientist now, and go out into the market and see if it really doesn't exist. Okay. They talk about confirmation bias. Don't go in there being like, I'm right already. I already know this doesn't exist. Go out there and see if it exists. It might exist. It might, once you buckle down and really go out there and look for these options, it might exist and you might have to kind of retarget your market. Why am I accidentally rhyming so much today? Maybe my deep down innate rapper is trying to break. No, it's not. It's not. But you want to go out there, see what's in the leggings market, see what's missing in the leggings market, see if it's true that what you're looking for actually does not exist out there, and you're going to make that thing that people cannot find. Okay? Maybe you want to make workout leggings that don't have ruching around your butt crack, okay? Because that's a choice. Okay. That's definitely a very subjective thing that some people really love and some people really hate. Okay. Maybe your whole thing is you want to make leggings for really tall, leggy people. Actually, there are people who are medium and short heights that are very leggy and just need longer leggings. Period. I don't know. Okay. Maybe you want to bring a return to stirrup pants. Okay. Who remembers stirrup pants? So go out there, look, really look instead of being like, oh, I looked a few times and it really doesn't exist. It's not going to benefit you to do that cursory glance. Okay. You really want to put out something that's bigger, better, bolder, everything than whatever is out in the market. So you really need to analyze what's out there. Buy a billion samples, analyze them, and try them on a bunch of different people. Okay. Some people who have different body shapes or different sizes, because leggings, they're not the hardest things to fit in the world. Okay. They're not exactly like a tailored blazer, but regardless of what your category is, you do want to fit them on the type of person you are looking to fit. Maybe you're making bikini tops for extremely busty women and, a problem busty women have is they're always looking for bras that are cute, that don't look like just like this beige girdle that sits on top of their chest. And, they want to wear tops, like bikini tops and bras that are just as cute as the ones made for smaller chested women, but, have a little bit more support. So maybe that's maybe that's the market you want to get into. So go gather up all of your busty friends and have them try some on and let them tell you like, oh, this is digging in here and I'm going to do one jumping jab and I'm going to pop out. So test other people's product also and make lots of notes and really sit there and like troubleshoot, like, okay, so she said this sucked, so what if I did this, and how would I solve that, and how could I create a strap that didn't dig in like this, how could I place it, those kinds of things. The next thing you want to do is go sourcing. Okay. You want to go sourcing, and I have a playlist full of sourcing videos. I've been to 2 trade shows recently for the channel. I went to the Functional Fabric Fair and I went to Premier Vision. I have videos of those. I have more sourcing videos. Go watch the sourcing videos. Tons of tips on sourcing. If you have more sourcing questions, drop them below. I am planning another sourcing Q&A video for the near future. Okay, but go sourcing and start, like, while you are analyzing your competitor's product, you have probably found some fabrics that you hate and some that you love. And so start labeling them. Okay, just safety pin a little post-it note to them with some notes on, love this fabric. I love how firm this is. Who is ever wearing this color? Not my customer. Okay, almost a rhyme. Also, at this point in time, maybe you want to talk to someone about getting those first samples made. Okay, because my first big design job out of school, I worked for this woman, and when she first started her company, she had this lady who did alterations, and she's like, "Hey, can you make some dresses for me?" And so this alterations lady started making these dresses for my boss. And the two of them were like, okay, so this is the fabric. Like, her first dresses were deconstructions of existing vintage clothes. And so she would take these clothes and she's like, I want to do this to it and I want to do that to it. Can you sew this up? And that woman would sew them up, and then she started dressing her friends, and that's kind of how she started her business. But that's also how that boss, who really does not have a background in fashion, also learned about garment construction, because she would sit there with this woman who has been sewing and fixing clothes for decades at that point, and they would sit there and hammer things out, and the seamstress would be like, oh no, you can't do that, you can do this, and I don't have enough fabric for that, you have to have way more fabric to do what you want to do with this sleeve. Like, and slowly she started learning more and more about the kinds of dresses that she wanted to make. And that's how they got started. And that woman ended up being their first sample maker at that business when my boss like eventually started like an official business, and she was still there. And when I started working there, and she was there until the day we closed up shop. She was great. But like, that's how that relationship started. So, you know, maybe look into like who in your area, like dry cleaners, alterations shops, sometimes they're combination businesses. See if they're interested in any custom tailoring jobs. See if there are any, like if they are interested in picking up any sort of like dressmaking sort of things, if they know how to work with these kinds of materials, if they have the machines to work with these kinds of materials, or if they have any friends that do. So yes, of course, you can seek out official pattern makers and sample sewers and stuff. But if you're not in a fashion capital, that may not be a resource for you. So here's another one. Okay. And just start making things. Even if you are not the one literally sewing things, like having that exchange with a dressmaker and learning about how to make things and how to get things made and how to communicate things with a dressmaker. Having those conversations will also add to your construction knowledge about how to make your product category. Okay. And you can start making those first samples, try them on your friends, try them on yourself. Although I never recommend using yourself as a fit model for myriad reasons. But yeah, try them on yourself, try them on your friends. Your official fit model should not be yourself, but try them on everyone. You know, go to a party in them. You know, if you're still on the leggings example, go run a million errands in your leggings, see what happens, see if the seams twist, see if the thigh rub like wears down the fabric too fast, you know, all these things. When you get to a point where you are having final samples made by a factory and you are going into production, you've hired a tech designer, they've made your tech pack, you're talking to a factory and you're getting samples made, you need to test the grade. There is this supremely unfunny joke in the garment industry, kind of in the product development side of things, that the sample size is always the best seller. Okay? Because these product development teams, they spend so much effort on perfecting the sample, the fit of the sample size, whatever that size may be, and then they grade it, and then they don't test the grade, or they don't test it well enough. They're like, that's good enough. These are the measurements that we want our size 12 to be, our size 2 to be. So there we go. And they don't fit as good as the sample size. And so people will buy the sample size because they're like, oh, this fits great. And then their size 10 friend is like, no, it doesn't. And they don't buy them. Okay. And so when you look at even like purchase orders, if you like do wholesale, you'll see it. Like if you're doing like a straight size run 2 to 12, you'll see that the middle size gets the most orders and they order less and less of the extreme size. And that is partially because of there are fewer size 2s than there are of size 8s. But everyone knows in America, the average size is a size 12. So why we aren't ordering more for a size 12? It's because they don't fit as well. And so people are not buying those. Also, let me talk a little smack about boutiques who order size 8 and 10. Know that on the purchase order, they could order a size 12 or 14, but don't because they don't want to dress fat people. Let me talk smack about people who offer plus sizes, or maybe not a full range of plus sizes, but larger sizes on their website, but don't carry them in the store because they don't want fat people in their store. Okay, let me talk smack about them a little bit. If this is you, go fix yourself. Always test the grade. You don't like moving forward, you do not need to test the grade on every single style that you run. That's crazy. But like, let's say you're doing jeans, that first jean, you know, you want to get that perfect fit and you want to get that great fit on across the board on all the sizes and have every woman in all these different sizes to try on your product in different sizes. And they don't even need to be like fancy official fit models because they are not the only ones who are going to be wearing your clothes. Okay. So you want like a whole, throw an old school Tupperware party style sort of thing where you set up a charcuterie board, come over and like, come help me with my business, try on the jeans, tell me what you think, and they're going to try on the pants. You're going to talk to them about how they feel in the pants, and they might be your first customers. Later on, if you decide to run a capri version of that style or a bell-bottom version of that style, but like the waist to hips to like maybe mid-thigh, everything is the same, you don't need to test the grade for those. You've already tested the grade. You can just, change things about the silhouette on the bottom part of the pants without worrying about doing the whole grade. But when you have that initial block, you should absolutely test the grade. This was supposed to be a short video. How long have I been talking? So that's how you start a business with no fashion experience. Being proactive, doing a ton of research on your own, seeking working relationships while learning all the while having conversations, but also bringing what you've learned to the table because you have also been proactive. I promise you, out of all the clients that I have, my favorites are the ones who do their own research and are proactive about finding information, trying things out, looking things up in between our meetings. It's never necessarily about, oh, I think this is so pretty and I think this is a superior designer. There are things out in the market being successful that I think are ugly all the time. Fashion is subjective. But I root for the ones who are like, okay, so I looked this up. Like we had this meeting and you're like, you need to look this up. So I looked this up and this is what I found. Those are the ones who are going to make it. The ones who put in the work. That, and this whole time you should just be networking your little butt off the whole time. Because if you have no fashion experience, you probably don't have much of a fashion network. If you do, good for you, but you should keep networking. And if you want me to make a video on networking, drop a comment below. As usual, please buy my book or design journal. Please rate, review. It would really help me a lot. Give this video a thumbs up if you learned something new today. Drop your video requests below. Drop your questions below. I think this is the last video that I am filming in this space. I'm moving to LA pretty soon, and I should be coming at you with a brand new setup, studio setup. I don't know what it's going to look like yet. I might just be shooting in some like empty corner in the interim. Good luck to all of you who are shooting for your fashion dreams, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, the video's over. Now go write me that review. Thank you.